Hi everybody, happy Monday morning, and welcome to Crowdfunding Countdown, where we take a look at every single board game campaign finishing up in the next week. And we have, too many tabs to count. It's going to be a very big week filled with probably nothing good whatsoever. Really. But it's tradition at this point to look at everything that's out there, look at everything we missed, look at everything that I put off until this week, thinking I'd have more time. However, we do have a sponsor of this episode, and I want to thank them greatly, and they're going to make sure that I can hear all of the awesome Kickstarter videos out there. We have Lytmi, a little wireless headphone company. They're already connected. It's dinging in my ears. And I'm going to wear these for the video because that's what I said I would do. They are pretty comfy. They can do a whole bunch of things that headphones normally do. There's the list of the things that they can do. I want to thank Lytmi for sponsoring the channel, sponsoring this episode. And I will let you know at the end of going through countless rulebooks if my ears get tired, because I don't think they will. And if you want, you can get 10% off. You can use my code, which unfortunately I didn't get to pick, but it is Room and Board Reviews. That is the code for 10% off if you order from their website. Just go down and, click on the link and take a little peek around. So if you're in the market for new headphones. So huge thanks to them for sponsoring the channel. And also huge shout out goes out to my newest patron, Jacob. I think, Jacob, you were signed up at one point and then you probably stopped and then you came back. And I just want to say thank you. I'm so touched always. I always know that finances are a fluctuating thing, right? They certainly are. I don't want anybody to ever be spending beyond their means. That is sort of the entire premise of the channel. And so it's really meaningful when people come back when they can, and when they can't, that's completely okay as well. I just want to say thanks to everybody who does support the channel, because it does mean a lot. It enables me to keep on doing these things and puts the pressure and the guilt trip so that I can't miss a single one. So let's get into the week. Let's start off with something that I did miss last week. They emailed me and they said, "Hey, you're going to cover us on Crowdfunding Countdown?" I said, "Yes." And then they said, "Hey, did you cover us on Crowdfunding Countdown?" And I said, "I forgot." But this is Dragon versus Kingdom. It did pretty well. It's just a little print and play game for 2 to 5 players. The highlights that they sent over my way was that there's a pass and play mechanism where each game you play is both the dragon and the kingdom. So you go kind of back and forth. Kind of reminds me of Layers as a pitch there. In a sea of huge over-deluxified campaigns that take years to produce and even longer to ship, we're a small company that make high-quality, small-scale print and play games. And then they also said, "I've said nice things about their previous game, Spies and Around the World in 10 to 15 minutes. We think your audience will enjoy this as well." Well, let me see. Did I say those nice things, or was I lying? Was I lying? Oh yeah, I do. See, I wasn't lying. Oh yeah. That is actually indicative, because sometimes I'm like meh, but I thought that Around the World in 10 to 15 minutes did look pretty solid in terms of a design, and Spies also did. I do remember both of those things. I must have said those nice things. I remember it now. So this is also why I want to check this out. So I'm going to watch this video and we'll see. I don't have to mute myself. Oh, because I'm wearing headphones. I probably don't have to mute myself anymore. I can talk. That might be a game changer. Headphones? Have you ever heard of headphones before? One thing to note is you can't turn down the volume on these headphones, specifically this version. So just be very aware of that. I want to include that right off the bat. Each round you can attack the dragon or expand your kingdom for points. Once per round, the roles reverse. Each player becomes the dragon, flying across the map to destroy structures and wreak havoc across the land. The game ends when a dragon destroys enough building or loses all health. So if you kill a dragon, or if you rain utter destruction as a dragon, then you win. You can build towers, attack the dragon, houses score for towers, shops score near houses, so they're all sort of connected. Your archers, that seems to make sense mechanically. Count the spaces from your attacking tower to the dragon, then roll the dice, roll greater than the distance to deal damage to the dragon. Oh, I see. Okay, so you're going to be drawing on every single map, which is kind of... Oh, I do kind of like that. It's kind of interesting. So if you have 5 players, you're going to pass it around, and in one of those you will be the dragon, and then in all the other ones you will be just a leader on the map. And so you can defeat a dragon, you can attack a dragon, you can build houses, but they'll all interact with what previous people have put onto the map as well. So you just want to get the most points on every map. Yeah, the player with the most points wins. But I like that it is spread across a number of maps, so yeah, that does seem kind of neat. If you're into print and plays, I would check it out. This is already done, but like Kickstarter now, you can always late pledge as well, because it never ever finishes. So if you're interested, check that out. Let's move on to this one, which is finishing tonight. Above and Below Haunted. Build a village in a haunted marshland and explore the watery caves below in this standalone sequel to Above and Below, planned for the 10th anniversary of the original game. I've never played Above and Below. I've always heard that it's good. My friend Matt owns a copy, but we just have never played it, but I've heard that it's really neat, so let's check this one out and see what it's like. Okay, that's showing me nothing. It's just showing me pictures. I get that the art is a good draw, but seriously, people, I need to know more about the game in your video. But that's why we care about the rulebooks, right? Build a village in the haunted marshland. Recruit a diverse cast of characters. Explore the watery caves below the ground. Explore the sunken caves. Read from a storybook and make intriguing choices. Your hometown is getting crowded, but to the east in a landscape of azure lakes, watery caves, sinkholes, and underground streams, there's an opportunity to start a new life. Underground as a mole man. Catch fish. Build a stilt house on the lake and explore the deep sinkholes for rare treasures and untold wonders and a place to finally rest your little head free from taxation. You will be a swamp being, and you will finally be happy. Get everything new for Above and Below Haunted, including the game. Wow. So it's $60 or 85 Canadian, and then plus shipping. It'd be like $100 for me. What is Above and Below right now at a store? I would bet it'd be 60 Canadian, right? Near and Far is like 80 Canadian. But Above and Below is cheaper. It's sold out, but it was 50 Canadian. That's cheap. But you are getting some stretch goals. Yeah, it's probably fine. What's new? Ghosts! You can banish ghosts, gaining a reward, send ghosts to another player's town, 2 cave types, sure, new building, sure, don't know what any of this means. Oh, are you not going to give me a rulebook on this page? You're not going to give me a rulebook on this page, and it's like, it's the day the campaign ends, because I delayed looking at this one, and there's no rulebook on the page. I mean, it's probably just Above and Below, and you could look up the Above and Below rulebook, but still, like, I do like that they specify it's 2 to 4 players with an optional solo mode. They're not just saying, yeah, it's solo, and then, because it doesn't play well that way. But yeah, alright, well, I have too many tabs open to worry about this. I've heard Above and Below is good. I think people who know the game will enjoy it, but, like, you haven't told me what the game is, and I think that is unacceptable in this day and age. Really. Like, there's great art. Who cares? We're moving along to this one. Oh, okay. I'm excited to check this one out. Desolito. Let's create an attractive town. Draft and tile placement board game. This is Desolito. It's by Sui Works, which I have their game Au Chemin on its way to me right now. Should be here. Au Chemin funded. When did it finish? Funded in April. And it is going to be here, like it would have been here in December, but it probably will be here in January, they said. But that's a pretty good turnaround time. I backed this because somebody on my Patreon was grateful enough to guilt me into it by paying for the shipping, because I said, look at these clown meeples. I'm like, well, that shipping's too much, but I would get it without the shipping. And they said, haha, I'm calling your bluff, you piece of garbage. I'm paying for the shipping. Get yourself some clown meeples. So I am excited about it. Like, I think it'll be a fun little Japanese-style Euro game, and I was impressed with the design, and so I'm hoping to be impressed with this design as well, as we are welcome to the City Planning Division. This is the Bien-Être City, a beautiful city with vast fields of flowers, lush green hillsides, and historical buildings. The market is bustling with people. Not for me, then. Desolate landscapes, where I don't have to interact with anyone. I'm the leader of the development project in this city, striving to improve the lives of its citizens. Now, striving to get the citizens out of my city, develop plans for public works projects, and create a balanced urban environment that prioritizes the well-being of its citizens. Your good leadership and wisdom will be instrumental in helping Bien-Être City grow. Draft and tile placement game. Oh, that's a good price too. $30, 42 Canadian. Desolito. Oh, I think this is how I'm supposed to be wearing the headphone. I don't know. It's one or the other. I'm gonna go with that, both. How to play. Rounds of a planning phase, placement phase, and a check phase. Check, please. Check phase. I hate myself too, it's okay. You choose and take a land tile from the revealed options that seem to be in between your boards, cool. The chosen land tile is placed at the bottom of the player's construction planning board, and then you place it on the board. You can place spaces adjacent to your worker token. Utilizing the tram when placing land tiles on your city board, you can move your workers along the tram track. This allows you to place land tiles in various locations on your city board. Oh, okay. So it's the balance of, I know I want these sections to all be staying together, but I need to move my worker to physically be able to get there. Players check the conditions of the milestone cards revealed on the table. If a condition is met, they take the corresponding building and place it on their city board. Drafting from 2 locations. Take the first, third from the left and the right. Okay, so as you go back and forth. Yeah, and the tile that you take first has to be placed last on your board. So you really want to figure out how you're going to be building. And then there's going to be a little bit of a tension of, okay, this is a really important tile to me, but if I take it first, I need to make sure that I can actually place it in the place that I want it to after I make my 3 other lesser placements. So you can probably get screwed by your own city planning as well. Well, you can also always move your worker just like 1 space. Oh, and there's some planning that you have to do in terms of how you build the area, so boxing in sections with your tramways as well. Yeah, this looks okay. I mean, it looks like it would kind of hurt my brain a bit. So if you have to be really kind of spatial about it, shipping is probably, would make it about $70 Canadian to get to my door. 1940 in shipping, 1610 to the US, 670 to Japan. Yeah, I think the Ocean Man looked a little bit more exciting for my Euro sensibilities, but if you really like tile placement games, check it out. That finishes Tuesday, October 29th. They found out that the factory made a slight error in some printing pieces, and so they caught it before they had to ship everything out of Japan, and so they just delayed it by like a month, and they were so apologetic. So really, really attentive company. They had already sent their stuff out to Japanese backers, and so then just shipped on the replacement parts at no extra cost to any of the backers. So a nice company for sure. If you're interested in that finishes Tuesday, October 29th. That's tomorrow at 8 a.m. We're going to keep on moving to this one, Ultramassive. Strategy board game where you play as a black hole with one goal. Consume. Build a daring strategy to become the king of the universe. Well, that's something I've always been interested in. Let's check this one. Featuring chaotic action card-based gameplay, dynamic engine building, and cosmic power grabs. How to play. You play an action card to gain matter and manipulate your black hole board. Use wormholes as shortcuts to quickly move matter across your board or along your board. Empower, acquire anomaly cards, which grant powerful new abilities. Consume. Gain solar mass by orbiting different kinds of matter and antimatter into your black hole. Okay, we're going to need a rulebook because none of that made any sense. 6 rounds. As you gain points, your black hole is going to evolve, which as you want to suck those beautiful, delicious, tasty matter and antimatter down your slippery little black hole. Action card, so orbit twice, you're sucking. That's where you really get that sucking power going. Okay, so you're earning money down here essentially, which you can then use to spend on additional cards. Each anomaly has a different tier progression as well, so you can get stronger and stronger. So you can upgrade your hand to your cards that you're using. Some of them will cool down. You can play up to 2 action cards during the action phase. These are one-time use, it seems. You can stack a bunch of matter on your space as long as it doesn't exceed 8. Sure there's a reason for that. You can't just stack a bajillion things on it. So you have to do different things. Orbiting sucks the resources towards your little black hole. You can have ways of propelling things forward as well. Yeah, it's all about moving these black holes and the energy around them. It seems kind of fun. I like it as a concept. How much are you? 44. 62 Canadian, and then shipping is 11 to the US, 16 to Canada. I think it does seem kind of fun. I like the concept of balancing out how you gain matter, how you propel that towards yourself. You can have wormholes along your track, essentially to leapfrog that track and make things more efficient is pretty cool. I like that you can upgrade your cards, although I wasn't quite clear on if those are like your initial cards or if you have to put back your other stuff. It would make sense though. I think this one might be worth looking at. Seems pretty decently solid. That finishes Wednesday, October 30th at 8 a.m. Moving along to this one, Rejig, the ultimate letter tile game. 14 years in the making. Build your own crossword against family and friends as you race to score the most points through word count, round categories, bonus words, donuts, and more. The best strategy can change each round, so everyone has a chance against even the most hardcore vocabulary. Well, the best strategy can change each round. Okay, so there are different words to spell. I'm intrigued. Let's check it out. I like word games. Well, I am interested in him saying, listen, even parents can team up against their children and let them know that this is the big leagues. You're in for the big time, kid. So basically, it's bananagrams with categories is what I think this is. Quick rounds, you have 10 ways to score, or even the shape. So the mod donuts are instead worth 1 point for each of the spaces contained in their donut hole. So if you make like a box or a square, then the longer and larger that square is, the more points you're going to get. Every 30 seconds, everyone has to grab a new random tile from the pool. Don't be afraid to break apart or rejig your puzzle to make one. Once all the tiles from the pool are gone, the first player to use all their tiles stops the round and gets bonus points. Yeah, I don't know. I liked being able to just shout peel over and over again and make everyone's day miserable. Can't do that here. I feel like that would be hard to keep track of when you don't have a player keeping track of it as you rejig your puzzle around. I think the slow adding of the tiles, maybe you could, I like this as a concept though. Score points for each word you spell and for creating enclosed spaces in your puzzle. 5 different sets of tiles, each with unique letter distribution. Deluxe pledge is 37 Canadian, base pledge is 28 Canadian. I think the concept seems neat here. I just don't see why I would ever play this over bananagrams. I like the idea of scoring points and getting bonus points for finishing quickly and getting bonus points for following a certain theme. I wonder a way to incorporate that just into bananagrams would be cool. But otherwise, yeah, I'm not like super interested. But if you are, you can check that out. The finish is on the 30th at 12 a.m. Moving along to this one, which isn't going to fund at this point, which is a bummer for me because this is by CJ Games. The reason I'm covering it, I don't normally cover things that are so far away from their funding goal, but this is the same person who made Galactic Era. Oh, things are going to fall on me if I pull it out. Maybe I should organize things better. Galactic Era. Oh, I can just click through. Haha. Galactic Era for me was everything I wanted Twilight Imperium to be. But hey, and it also didn't fund on its first go-around, and then it funded on its second go-around. Galactic Era, I think, was awesome. So for sure, I want to look at this one just briefly and see what this one has to offer as well, just because I really believe in the designer. And I thought Galactic Era was so good. Really, it is probably one of my favorite Space 4X games out there. So yeah, that's why I want to check this one out. Let's see. Era of Atlantis, a unique area control board game with overlapping partnerships in the antediluvian age. Okay. The video doesn't really tell you a lot. It just tells you it'll be fun. There'll be 2 different factions controlling a specific civilization. That's what seems interesting to me, that concept of there being these locations that only 2 people can fight over, but I don't know if that's actually a thing. Special twist about this nation is that you control 2 nations at the same time and share each one with another player. Well, there you go. The lesser valued one at the game end determines your score. Ha, if only I had read. That does seem fun, right? You're balancing between the 2. If you like between 2 castles of King Ludwig or between 2 cities, that's the very same thing that they do there. But you can just send, if one gets too overpowered, you just like roll over. You send them into battle against your other one and you go, yeah, it's fine. You're playing a secret society seeking to expand 2 powerful nations. Yeah. A complex, intense area control game like between 2 cities. Yes. Objective cards, setup cards, bidding dials, meeple buildings, major nation tiles. There are ways to score some additional points for yourself only as well. Switching control of a nation is also possible but difficult. Cool. Number of rounds, take 1 turn per round by using an Archon to activate an action space. You have both personal action spaces and those of the nation which you share with your partners. Cool. Love that. There are 2 main ways to gain new areas for your nation. Militarily or politically. Use troops or use your secret agents. Combat is deterministic with secret bids. Cool. I like secret bidding during combat for bluffing, constant interaction. Download the rulebook. Yeah, this does seem fun. Like, I like it as a concept and I trust the designer, because Galactic Era was really, really great. I can't tell you how great. Cool, and there's a bunch of randomization on the spots of the board because different spots can house different abilities, different actions, and also different strengths. And so you randomize that for the startup as well, these tiles. Cool, okay, so you can here are the actions. Intrigue, you can place agents, square counters with an agent, icon, and number face up in any nation. But the key here is you can also relocate any of your agents already on the map at the start of the action to a different nation for free. And so you're slowly growing this force, but they can just appear anywhere. They can pop up. People know how much force you have to play with, but they don't know when you're going to strike. At the start of this action for coup, you can swap 2 of your agents on the map for every 1 Viria you pay. Cool, okay, and everybody who's in the nation, essentially, all involved players will bid on a coup, so you can help the attacker, help the defender. There's going to be some self-balancing there. If somebody's in the lead, people will gang up against that specific nation. Okay, and you can be a non-combatant as well, so you can not experience the downfall. There's a way to cycle the objectives. There's a way to get money. There's a way to build buildings. And then there's a way to develop your military strength, move, and do your conflict. But all the conflicts are deterministic in that you can see the value of everybody's force, right? You can see the value of the secret agents who are trying to do a coup, and you can see the value of the military forces that are scattered around the board. All of this similar clashing of conflicts where you smash force against force and get rid of some stuff. Wait, you can make this a campaign game with Galactic Era. Play Era of Atlantis. The setup affects Galactic Era. Starting advantages. The winner of Era of Atlantis gets an additional 3 DP. Chooses a technology to start at level 2. Second player gets 2 DP. All players can then get the following depending upon how our Era of Atlantis game ended. Okay, so basically if you played as a good player in Age of Atlantis, then you get a bonus for starting on the side of good in Galactic Era. The winner of the Galactic Era game is also the winner of the campaign game. So it's just you play both back to back, and there's some slight tweaks in between. I wouldn't really call it a campaign game whatsoever, but it's a fun little twist. And that is something that I have only seen in a game that I play tested, which I can't talk about, but it is a sequel to an existing popular game. I don't know when it's going to be done. I play tested it like, I don't know, a year ago, maybe more. But this is my I told you so when it comes out. So it's $116 for this game plus shipping, €10 to Germany, $23 to the US, $38 Canadian. To get to Canada, but hey, thank you for doing it in my actual currency. So it's $150 to get this game. I know how much game was in Galactic Era, and so and looking at this, I assume it is that same weight, that same amount of game packed into that box. I think that is worth that value if you like these big epic games. The tough part is, like, even with me owning Galactic Era, I don't know if I would gravitate towards Era of Atlantis before doing Galactic Era, and I might want to choose one or the other. But I like the concept of moving and controlling those two different nations. Like, conceptually, I think it's interesting. That's why I like the concept. But I don't know if that's like my particular preferred scoring condition too, so it doesn't really get me actively excited. But I do think that CJ Games is really good, and I shouldn't have spent this long on this because I know it's not funding, but it will come back, right? It definitely will come back, and maybe it'll fund then. So if you want to get updates on it, I would, just back now. And then when it comes back, you'll be notified, right? Like, that would be the reason. But if you're interested in that, it finishes Wednesday, October 30th. But again, it probably won't get there right now. Let's check out this one. Dungeon Up and Below expansion. Oh, Dungeon Up and Below expansion. A print and play. Your quest for treasure has led you to be captured in a deep dungeon. Now you have to escape by going up to the surface. It'll only be £5, but let's see what it's like. So you're going to get a hero. You're going to lay some cards down as you just move through a dungeon, trying to get these treasure cards, laying cards on top of other cards. Choose an available room, and you add it to your dungeon by advancing in it. Only if we have enough equipment, we can confront bosses to get points for our opponents. So there's a little drafting phase of the cards of which do you want to be in your dungeon, what is the easiest way. You need to have a weapon of the specific monster's color to defeat it. I see, you're essentially trying to get these different weapons because you will have to face different level monsters as you go up and up. So if the same color monster gets chained together, then you're going to have to face more and more difficult monsters, so you need more and more bows or flames or arrows or whatever. Yeah, that seems fine. I mean, it's a $5 print and play. You know what I mean? If that seems exciting to you, you can pick it up, you can print it out, give it a try. That finishes Wednesday, October 30th at 11:59 a.m. Moving along to this one. It's not a game, but it's a board game adjudicant. CavernHold Armory carry 10 games in the space of one. A modular case that consolidates and protects your games from dense spills and weather while traveling or storing on your shelf. I'm interested in this because there were a few of these, and I've been interested in these for WSBG specifically because I generally travel with them. Like, I'll bring games to an event. Like, I'll be running a little WSBG event at Level Up in New Jersey. I'll just run like a mini tournament. Essentially, I'm doing it just for fun, but they're buying a ticket, and then I'm running a tournament for the winner to get that ticket. You can come to the World Series. But yeah, I kind of want to look at this, so I'm gonna. Oh, and we can look together. Games are bulky. Yeah, you're right. Well, no, you do have space. If you're a real true gamer, you do have space. Let's be clear. You don't take anything. Well, okay, you kind of slot things. It's just like a modular storage tray system, essentially. I don't quite see how it is more effective than any other game, judging by what they're showing right now. Yes, you're showing me a game filled with just cards. Yeah, so if you have giant games like Splendor, which isn't a giant game, then maybe you can fit 10 games in. Kind of nice, though, that it has those little storage slots, but I guess when I'm looking at this, I was like, how are you going to turn all of my boards and just magically make them not take up a lot of space? How are you going to do that? Oh, that is cool. You can put minis and stuff in there too. Yeah, I'm interested. The more I look, I'm like, the more interested I am. How much are you though? Probably like 100. 82 bucks Canadian. So plus shipping, 100. So that's less than I expected it to be. Yeah, I don't think you could fit all those games into that. One, well, there's only 2 boards in there, right? Tokaido, Ticket to Ride, and everything else is tiles. Yeah, you know what? I really, once I checked myself being like, I want to hold 1,000 game boards and realized that was unreasonable, then yeah, I got kind of interested. So check it out if you're looking for that. That doesn't seem bad. Like $100 for a nice little storage case where you can pack your bags into it. I don't know. That feels not too bad. So check it out. It finishes Thursday, October 31st at 2:59 a.m. We're going to keep on moving along because we have so many to get through. Oh, God. I'm going to be at this for hours. Next, we have Staked, the next evolution in social deduction, but I'm happy to be here with all of you. Earphone update. They haven't gotten annoying yet. I do think it is insane that you can't adjust the volume just by tapping this. I think that's a wild thing to not include. However, if you don't need that, and I've just been adjusting it manually on the computer, not so bad. Okay, let's check this one out. Oh, nope, actually, we're not covering this one. I was covering it, and I was noticing that it was just a very ordinary, overexpensive social deduction game that's trying to tell you that it's different. However, it also did the $1 pre-pledge, so we're not going to give it free coverage on what limited mechanics it has and how it is trying to set itself apart by just saying, we're better than everything else, because we don't like the $1 pre-pledge. I hate that I have to always keep friggin' checking this list, but thank you to Vault Boy for keeping it up to date. We're moving along to Wicked Christmas. Maybe. Nope, we're not. That's too bad, because this one also uses the $1 pre-pledge, so no free marketing for you, but that's great because I have too many tabs open. So will I continue the run? We're moving on to Bat Flip. Yes, we can look at you. Bat Flip Dynasty. Build a baseball dynasty, hire a manager, sign free agents, and promote prospects to build a team for the ages. Sure. Yeah, that seems fun enough. A cute little drafting game. Card and dice drafting featuring tableau building and budget management. Yeah, you're drafting players, but you can't go outside your budget. Similar to you, building a collection through only Kickstarter games. Will these players hit, or will they flop? Yeah, it seems pretty simple. You pick a team, you hire a manager, they all have different asymmetric powers, you draft some players, you promote your prospects, and activate skills and abilities. I want to know how you develop your dice pool. That's what I'm interested in. Because there's a lot of dice. 50 dice. Wow. And it's $29.41 Canadian, and then shipping will be... I don't know, there's not a tab for shipping, but at least they have the rule book. Oh, cool. I like this. Sign or decline. So if you don't want to hire somebody, you can still hate draft them. You just discard them instead of hiring somebody on your own. Like, say you've blown the budget. Roll a number of dice equal to the number of blue team dice icons on the left of all cards in your active roster. Oh, cool. So you get guaranteed some dice, and then you're going to be drafting additional dice. Love that. So you have a basis on which to go from. And it seems like everybody will fill their hits in some way. Cool, and you got more dice and more people as you go along. Yeah, I think that looks quite nice. It's annoying that the shipping doesn't have a tab. Shipping estimates, $10 to the US. For 39, I think this could be pretty good. 20 international. Pretty sweet. Yeah, I like this a lot. I think I like the drafting aspect of it. I like this little box dice tray that you're going to roll your dice into the dugout. That seems like a great way to use it. 50 dice. Start with a specific player team. Oh no, you don't, but you can match them up with, they probably chain together. Yeah, I think that one looks pretty neat. I like it. That finishes Thursday, October 31st at 8:01 a.m. Moving along, not to this one, Roborover 2077. How will this technology augment this board game? We'll never know because it's a $1 pre-pledge and we're not giving it coverage. Again, just highlighting that in case you want to vote with your wallet, because there are so many games out there and it's very easy to just skip the ones that use a stupid marketing tactic. Let's look at Aetherspire. Cooperative 3D tile placement and tower defense. Build 3D spires and defend the elemental realm for 1 to 4 plane shifters. Okay, that seems cute enough. You have to build 4 spires in order to save the realm, and how you'll build spires is by putting these purple cubes on the squares, but they might have other cubes on them because those are the invaders, and so you need to move the other cubes away and put your own cubes so you can build up 4 different towers and shoot everybody dead. 34. Oh, that's the early bird. There's 1 left, so somebody clearly dropped out, but it's going to be 39, which is 55 Canadian, and then shipping to Canada at least is 23, US is 15, Europe cheapest is to Germany at 12. So again, 23 for me. That's like $85. I don't think this is going to be an $85 game for me, but I think it potentially could look fine. Download the draft rules, yes please. It keeps saying like, you might need to conjure spells like Firebomb to get rid of the people. Okay, cool. But where do I get these spells? How do they exist? I'm not going to buy a game just because it's got Lava Bomb. And if I was going to buy a game based on a silly word or the use of words, that is absolutely based upon the title of our next one. Okay, cool, and there's going to be 4 different elemental bosses, so every time you complete a spire, you can focus on which spire you want to complete. Take out the person who is causing you the most grief. Okay, so the different colored cubes also serve as your resources. So you're killing the people who are invading, and you're also choosing who to kill, because then that will choose what kind of spells you can power up. Yeah, it seems okay. I'm not blown away by it, especially for 85 Canadian. It's not really giving me much wow factor, unfortunately, but I do like the idea of building upwards. That seems neat. If you like tower defense, yeah, I think it can do enough stuff to satisfy the people who are drawn to it for its art and who are drawn to it for other reasons. Again, I don't think it should be this low. I'm happy it's hit its funding goal. I think it could be a little bit better, honestly, just from comparing other games that have raised it a ton. But there you go. That finishes Thursday, October 31st at 9 a.m. as well. Moving along to this one, which I only clicked on because of the name. Bloink! A game of stacking and strategy. A fun and easy to learn game where you stack unconventional wooden pieces to be the last tower standing. Well, let's see what in the bloink this is. Oh, look, everybody's bored about your party. If only you had Bloink. Wait, this Bloink? Okay, I'm sorry. These people just were like, does this spell blink? Does this spell blanc? No, it's Bloink. Yes, it's clearly Bloink. In no world would anybody be calling this game Blink or Blanc, all right? When it's Bloink. The madness of these two people, their towers are not going to succeed. I can already tell you based upon the narrative of this video. Yeah, just throw some wood in the middle of the table. I like that they put a towel down so that they don't scratch the table itself. Everybody starts with a blank base. You spin the egg to see who goes first. I've played a game that was similar, but much different. Don't smash your tower. Look, she organized a party and everybody got to laugh at her face. So you can do something to yourself or give wooden pieces to somebody else. You can gang up on whoever invited you over to this party. You can gang up on the two people who were calling it Blink and Blanc. Oh my goodness. An evening Bloink to spice up a date night. Come on now. Is this a crossover with Spicify? Last tower standing win. That finishes Thursday, October 31st at 9:53 a.m. How much are you? Probably too expensive. 55, okay. You know, for a bunch of wooden pieces, that's honestly not too bad. Shipping details, 15 Canadian, 15 US. So it'd be $70 for a bunch of wood. I would go with Hamster Roll or Bombaleo, but Bloink seems fine in that category. Quest Snakes is next. Maybe. I'm gonna guess it isn't. Yep. It's like I can smell the games, the campaigns that feel like they need to use a $1 pre-pledge. It's helpful that this is by people called Real Fake Games. This project is promoted by Jello Pop, the ad tech power behind the best Kickstarter launches, with 4,200 successful Kickstarter projects. Well, yeah, not covering that. We're moving on to this one, Capybattle. Nope. What the heck and heck? I guess they're all coming out in the woodwork, you know? So we're not covering that one either. Just think of all the free coverage you could have gotten. Dang, I was hoping this one would be good. I was thinking about cutting it, and I'll just talk about it briefly. It's past its goal, but it's just past its goal, and only 38 backers have done it, so I feel like the people have just put it up to make it past its goal. Survivors, you want to get as many supplies as possible. It's a fun apocalypse sort of themed game, but it essentially comes down to you lay out a bunch of stuff, you put a person on it, and you flip over the card. Is it supplies? Great. you get the supplies. Is it an infection? You are infected, right? It's just like Go Fish. And so you just run around fighting each other in this grid. Dang. Doesn't look that good, unfortunately. So we're going to move on to, well, this is done when? Also October 31st, because everything is? Yes. October 31st. Everything's finishing on Halloween. We're on the light of the end of the 15 more tabs. But next up, we have Fest Season. 1 to 5 players compete to organize and host the most memorable music festival in this thematic Euro-style board game. Sure, I have a friend who goes to Fest, which is in Florida, every year. Let's see what this is like. The top music festivals in the world compete head-to-head. I don't know. I know a couple festivals out there, and they're really the tops. There's a few festivals that are really just the best festivals that anybody could ever want to go to. One of them being the Prismatic Festival, run by Room and Board contributor, she was in a video, she was in the acting video, the beautiful, incomparable Rachel Line. You gotta step it up, Fest. I don't know what sort of festival you're running here, but it ain't Prismatic, I'll tell you that. Tell you that for free. Katie Carey? No. Sweet, mild, sweet, green, mild, sweet pears. I don't know what that is spoofing. It's like the Ya-Ya Sisterhood. When I was in high school, we did some a cappella tunes. Of course, we sang some Moxie Fruvis songs, which is unfortunate that Moxie Fruvis, has famed abuser in it, Gian Gameshi. But we did some a cappella songs. We were thinking about what would be a good name for a band, and we thought that the band named, I always thought the band named We Cry Airplanes would be a good name, because it just is meaningless, as most band names are, just completely meaningless. But then you think that there's meaning, but they didn't come up with any meaning. They just added a bunch of words together to get you all tongue twisted, a twitter in your twister, as many festivals do. Orange Day. See, there we go. That's what I thought green fried tomatoes was. Couple of green sweet pears? What is that? Green mild sweet pears. Boston Good Boys. The Boston Good Boys is really good. Interesting. There's sort of a set collection or a fame. Like if there's the more punk bands that are out there, the more punk bands are in demand and the more expensive they are, but they also then are worth more points too. So the more you get, the more everything is worth, which I think is interesting. As long as it's everybody and not just your own personal player board, in which case then it's just a standard scaling thing. This looks good. First created. 98 Canadian, 69.95, so $70 US. $70 US, $100 Canadian, plus some shipping. This looks fun though. It has some Arc Nova DNA, I feel. There's a communal slider track that you move up to choose your actions that I think kind of functions as the break token in Arc Nova. And you're also going to be laying out your own individual festival based upon the stages that you need, based upon what bands you want to hire. You can only hire them if you have certain things in your venue as well, because the big old boulders won't perform anywhere unless they can see a bunch of water fountains everywhere. It's in their rider, okay? Who are we to question the artists? It is the artists they know best. But yeah, this looks fun. I want to look a little bit more into it. Yeah, player's turn. Take an action by moving one of the 3 action faders. Okay, so each action fader has the different actions, and they will all trigger them. That's interesting. One of the 3 action faders. Get the fader's benefit if any are available, so you can get like additional points on your own benefit as well. If the action fader reaches the last step, it triggers a refresh action. Here your main action. Build stuff onto your map, which they might have variable maps too. Hire a band. Pay its cost multiplied by the genre's volume. The volume being right here, which is cranked up. Boom, boom, boom. Increase the genre volume and your festival's hype. Gain the benefit where the hype token lands. Cool. Or complete a project. So these are just objectives. Pay its cost, you get its benefits. Place it in a board above your new column. Every time you trigger a refresh action, the master fader moves up. Yeah, this looks cool. Have the most victory points at the end of the game to win. Yeah, on each action track. 1, 2, 3. Nice. So there'll be a limited amount of actions, but you can choose 3 different ones. Cool. I like that a lot. This is very clever. This is a very clever. Yeah, I like also the idea that there are bonuses on each track. And so because of that, when you're going up the tracks, you'll be incentivized to do one because you want the bonus, or you'll be incentivized to do the other because you get your first pick on whatever the stuff is that's out there, right? So I think that drafting and the balancing of doing the actions and picking those should be interesting. The only thing I'm not too sure about its application is this project track. So you can complete these projects to get a benefit, and I guess you can get multiple benefits, right? They'll let you take an additional action, a different type of action, and potentially get some more income. So it might just be more efficient to do projects at some point in time, or they can be worth points maybe at the end of the game. There must be some sort of, there must be objectives that have to do with projects completed. Identify the farthest right project above your board and get the victory points shown below. So you want to complete different projects as well. It's the projects that don't seem like they have that much of an application, but it just gives you something else to do, I suppose. And to be fair, maybe you can't afford building some stuff, right? But by doing the projects, you can then eke out things for a cheaper cost. Yeah, maybe that's what it's for. All in all, though, I think this looks really good. Definitely seems fun. What's shipping like? Canada, oof, $28. US, $18. Mexico, $10. So to get to my door, this would be about $150 Canadian. Dang. You know, I could be convinced to do it for $100. Like, I think it does look really, really quite exciting. $150 might be a bit too rich for my blood, but it does seem really good. So if you're interested, check that out. The finish is Thursday, October 31st at 11 p.m. We're going to keep moving to this a witchy roll and write game with some mischievous cat plushies. Doomcat roll and write game. I think it's just a vehicle for whatever the plushies are. Doomcat base, pay what you want, though. That's cool. I mean, really, the draw here could be these weird plushies. Wow, you can pay what you want. Starts at 10, but you can get the base game, which is a $30 value. You could pay 10. They have a limited number of those available, or you can have a box set, which is $39. But if you're cheapy and you want to donate a higher amount, or this is all you can afford and you really are interested in the game, you can check that out. Each game chooses 2 or 3 scoring conditions. You roll 3 dice. Players use all the same dice. Your cat steals one. Write the number at the top of your circle, and if you write the same number twice, that number becomes wild. Sure. Draw a link between 2 candles with numbers matching the other dice. Oh, I see. So here are your candles. You're like summoning sigil. The line must be as short as possible, but can curve to avoid candle intersections. Your cat knocks over a candle matching the die they stole, forcing you to make painful choices about what candles to lose. Game ends after 14 rounds. High score wins. So it's a very solo game as you're drawing those different lines between. It's basically all on this circle as you scribble this sigil and try to be the most efficient. Shipping for the box set is $8. It doesn't seem that interesting, unfortunately. I think the main interesting thing here are the plushies, and those seem like they are $40. Like, it doesn't even show the cost for them. I'm sure it does. Here we go. Yeah, the Doomcat plushie. Catthulu, Starcat, and Kaiju Cat. They're all $40 each because they're going to be made in limited quantities. That makes sense. If you're interested in that, you can check it out. The finish is Thursday, October 31st at 11:59 p.m. They made their goal, $1 goal. So they made that goal. Moving along, we're not actually moving along to this. Paragon, they did the $1 pre-pledge, but I thought it was interesting because they just lost $5,000. It's almost as if they've been pumping up the numbers themselves. Like, I literally just clicked on this 20 minutes ago. They've been pumping up the numbers themselves and then dropping it slowly so that it matches certain things. What I thought was interesting about Paragon is they did the $1 pre-pledge. And they canceled their previously funded 345% funded. So they canceled that. They're sitting around 118 Canadian. And currently, with 4 days to go, they're sitting at 123 Canadian. So nothing has changed. And they'll probably cancel it again. Or maybe they'll accept it this time. Who knows? But either way, we're not covering it. Again, that's got to be a record. There's like 6 $1 pre-pledges this week. But don't worry, there's still so many more, none of which are going to be good. Maybe one. Oh, okay. I just saw one coming up. And this one could be good. I like the solo game of the month. I've always found this to be very reasonable. So we're going to see what October's spooky solo game of the month is from Gabe Barrett. I've always thought that these look nice. So let's check this one out. I always think that these solo games of the month are fun. They look cool. There's 2 in the one box, actually. They've got Dyson Crusoe as well as an add-on which you can get, which apparently was in demand and sold out very quickly. And they're like, all right, well, let's just do it again. I think the price is good. It's $24 US, 34 Canadian, and then shipping is always good. But for these 2, this is Escape from Route 52. It was a print and play. It's a roguelike card game where you have to escape a dangerous and haunted road. Deck consists of 52 cards, each not only representing the situation and threats along the road, but also the weapons and equipment needed to deal with them. Each round, you'll deal with 4 cards at a time and search of the resources necessary to fix your truck and leave the hateful road in the rear view. And then we have Hunted Transylvania. This is the third Hunted that's come out this year. The similar system of a push your luck mechanism where you have a deck of cards. There's good stuff in that deck. There's bad stuff in that deck. You draw a number of those cards and you can decide to continue to drawing cards. But if you draw too many bad boys, well, then the bad boys come and they give you the claws. And then we also have this Dyson Crusoe, which, well, it's not telling us anything about. It's just like, hey, you probably like it, so get it. Or you could do it as a print and play. I like that because it started as a print and play, it's going to stay as a print and play. And then we have Dyson Crusoe, which is the same cost, but maybe it'll tell us a little bit later. You can sneak past the threats, or you can confront the threats that come up in this Area 52 or road to 52 highway to hell. Stay on the road long enough to fix your truck and live to tell the story. Download the rulebook. Yeah, I'm interested because I want to know if I have a axe that has a 5 and the werewolf is 10. Yeah, that makes sense. So if the damage dealt by the weapon reduces the threat's power to 0, then you don't take any damage. But if it doesn't reduce it to 0, you can use the axe and then you would take 5 damage as well. And you can also heal. There's a little scoring system for that one. Again, trying to survive to the finale, facing off against somebody evil. The same hunted system that we've talked about a little bit before. You want to focus on the push your luck elements to it. Exploring, collecting, using the cards in your hand. Do I want to keep on going? Do I want to see what cards come up? That's the choice that you get to make in this solo game. And then Dyson Crusoe was February's solo game of the month. Did I not cover it? I must have. Did I miss it? Maybe it didn't, fund well, but apparently it did. I must have missed it. I must not have looked at it. Maybe I was filming things in advance and it hadn't yet aired. I'm not sure. Been getting rave reviews since it came out, and a few months ago, the extra copies I had sold out immediately, so now they're reprinting it. Cool. And I guess if you want to find out about that, well, they're not telling you. They're just like, it's good. Check it out. Using the cards to run around and protect yourself on an island, I suppose. I wonder if Dyson Crusoe was just added because this campaign wasn't doing that well and nobody was that interested in this. And they're like, okay, let's throw in the reprint, see if we can make some extra money. Maybe. I don't know. Well, I should be able to see in the history then. Dyson Crusoe, shipwrecked and stranded. Roll your dice, manipulate the action rondelle to get the most out of every day as you craft tools, hunt for food, fulfill quests. Can you survive long enough to build a raft and escape the island? Originally published in South Korea? Cool. Roll your dice, manipulate the action rondelle to get the most out of every day. Oh no, this is the action rondelle here. This is a concept. You can either move the 2 or the 3. So you basically plot out your 3 actions. You say, okay, I'm going to get these 3 actions. Which ones are going to be better in this specific order? Complete quests to win the game. Yeah, I mean, none of these really grab me. Again, I'm not really a solo player, but I think the packaging and the price and the shipping is always in the right pocket. So these are always ones that I'm interested to check out. So if you want to check it out, that also finishes on the 1st of November at 12:59 a.m. Moving along to Girls vs. Ghouls, a spooky game of secret teens. Not teams, teens. 2 teens compete. But who's on your side? The ghouls. The ghouls are on my side. In this Halloween game of neighborhood mischief and double crossing, I don't know why I'm doing that. Whoops, dodge that bullet. Not covering you. Also on the $1 pre-pledge list, let's give it up for Vault Boy for keeping such diligent notes for those who want to vote with their wallets. We will eventually purge this stain upon our hobby by not engaging. I clicked on this because it's a funny title. Asylum of Death. I don't think you should go to that asylum. If you are seeking asylum, one, or if you need to be thrown into a mental institution from the 60s, too. In either case, don't go to the one that says Asylum of Death. It is not a thing that you should be pursuing. I don't know how many times I have to keep explaining this. People keep on going to the Asylum of Death versus the Asylum of Salvation, and they think it's a trick. They think it's a trick between the two. They think it's a 2 paths converge on the same place. They think it's a wine in front of me situation. But it isn't. It's sometimes the name is what it is. Oh, but anyway, if you want to come over for dinner, I'm having a fun little game, Asylum of Death. So I need 6 people to eat. I mean, I need 6 people to eat with, of course, because I'm the only one who got out alive from the other one. So it's nice to do it again when I know all the tricks. A murder mystery game. Are you ready to put your detective hat on and find the killer? Because I bet it'll be edible. I also think that it's great that these are the people who are coming to your dinner party. When you purchase Asylum of Death, you will invite these specific people. Hannah Spencer. Oh, Hannah Spencer, who killed Christine. Seems kind of young to be someone's mother. And this one's unique because the killer can lie, which is different from normal killers where they have to tell you if they're a killer. Second murder mystery game in our Deadly Whisper series. £25, €25 for a basic murder. Or you can murder in style with one shirt for all of your 6 guests. Shipping is €4 to Slovenia, €10 to the UK, €20 to the US. I think there are other murder mystery party games that you don't have to back one on Kickstarter, but if you're in Slovenia, maybe it's a good deal for you. The finish is Friday, November 1st at 1:18 p.m. I prefer like print and play murder mystery parties on Kickstarters personally, but all right, next up we have Cerro Gordo Silver Mines by Ghost Town Living Games. First created, okay. YouTube, 1.5 million subscribers. A city building game based on a true story, combining mining objectives and a tile laying in collaboration with Ghost Town Living. So it must be like a spooky YouTube channel that wants to make a game. In my experience, this will mean that the game is bad, but let's see. I mean, this guy's YouTube channel is probably something really cool to check out. He's like, oh, I've been living in this ghost town for 4 years, trying to rebuild it. Now we're making a game about it. That's cool. And now you're going to be competitively building the city to fulfill your needs, and only your needs, with random events. That always makes for a fun game. Stuff you cannot control. And will just remove things that you've worked very hard to do. All right, here's the gameplay. You play a building and a road. You can mine, gain silver, and reveal events. You co-build the town as you complete your objectives. You win by completing objectives and collecting silver. Are you gonna have a rulebook? You are, maybe. Maybe, here we go. And a print and play if you want to try it. Cool. Okay, cool. There's gonna be a market of buildings. This is a free building. You have to pay silver for every other building, I assume. Yeah, boom, boom. Standard drafting in a card market, which I like. You then take that building and you put it somewhere. And so you always have to do something to complete the objective as well. So you can't just luck into it, but there's probably ways to capitalize upon your opponent's stuff. A very simple little city building game as you try to put the things out that help you complete those objectives, and you move your person to take little actions or to get little benefits from. Again, you're going to be hit by those little random events. As it's $30, 42 Canadian, and then shipping will be $8 to the US, 11 to the UK, 17 to Canada. So for me, this would be like a $60 game. I could see this being a little lightweight thing, but in terms of choosing cards in that row, I would just play Canvas. Canvas seems a little bit more exciting to me in terms of matching things. It's not really similar to Canvas, but how you get your cards is indicative or similar to Canvas. So, yeah, it doesn't seem bad. I mean, honestly, I'm going to go check out his YouTube channel before I would buy this game, because that seems like a really cool thing that this guy's doing, and he's got really great presence. So just do that. Check out his YouTube channel. The finish is Saturday, November 2nd at 12:11 a.m. Moving along to one that surely will be awful. Sibille, a tarot board game. The tarot-based board game about fortune tellers, prophecies, and customer satisfaction. Well, Sibille, I hope you can give me some satisfaction, because I'm a tough customer to please. Tell me about all of my doom and gloom. The innovative prophecy mechanic. All right, there might actually be a game here. Sibille, a tarot board game. Strategy board game based on action selection, predictive bidding, and card interactions. Yes, the prophecy mechanic. The prophecy is coming true. You select 3 cards, you place them face down in a play line from a lot of cards, it seems. The active player activates the effects of previously revealed cards. They can enhance card effects by spending crystals. Okay. Prediction: every other player gets 1 crystal for each card that they have correctly predicted. Cool. Phase 3 customers. Each player simultaneously attracts customers according to their demands in order to collect their rewards. Phase 4 cleanup. Players simultaneously collect the cards in their play line, then spend prophecy tokens to swap cards in their prophecy line. So the prophecy line is probably the things that you get to keep from round to round. Standard edition, €49. Sure. 74 Canadian. You know what that means. $100 for me. It's amazing how 50 gets turned into 100 so easily. Clear cards. Use your favorite tarot cards to play Sibille. So they're just sleeves then? Oh, you can get like a clear card deck if you have a tarot deck. That's kind of cool. Cool. So you're going to pick 3 cards to activate on your turn, and you're also going to pick 3 prophecies that you will use. I don't know if you would use them in a 4-player game. I guess you just have more variance in a 4-player game, more likelihood to predict other people's choices. But whatever cards you pick, you get to do an action. There'll be a base action, and there'll be a more impressive action, an enhanced effect, which will cost you stuff. Essentially, there'll also be a number of different conditions and things that you want to achieve before anybody else. These are the conditions that must be met to win the game. As soon as you fulfill the conditions of 2 or more divine blessings, you immediately win the game, because you have been blessed by the divine, obviously. Interesting. And some must be continually maintained. So if it's like, get 25 coins, but you keep 25 coins is a much more difficult thing. You also will have a chance to buy these trinkets, which are one-time use things, and these artifacts, which you can use gears to activate. What I think is neat, you have a play line and you have a prophecy line, but you're choosing from your own deck of cards. So if you're going to predict other people are using the ability, you also are resigning yourself not to use that ability. Ooh, then they take crystals equal to the number of revealed cards in common between them and the active player's play line. So if I predict that everybody's going to use this awesome ability, I can get stuff based upon it, and that's how it'll scale depending upon the number of players playing. Yeah, I think this looks fun. I like predicting what my opponent will do. I like knowing all the actions, and I like thinking this is the best action for you to do. And knowing what this is, just the Sun Clan, right? Like, this is just the Sun Clan stuck into a game, and so obviously it's going to be something that I'm interested in. Yeah, surprising. I really didn't think I'd be interested in this, but it does look good. Is it $100 good? I don't think so, right? Shipping to Canada is 25 euros. Yeah, $100. But still, I think there's a fun game there for sure. I like the prediction aspect and sort of foretelling the future. Much more impressive than I was expecting it to be. So that finishes Saturday, November 2nd at 4:01 a.m. Moving on to Fiero! Elakanamen namen natu natu elakanamen. Elakanamen namen natu natu elaka. Elaka. What good is this chanting? I don't even know what I'm reading. I don't even know what game I ought to try. That's, spoiler alert, when Fiero gets got. Build crazy ideas, legendary characters, and memorable stories in this 30-minute card game for 3 to 6 players. It's a creative storytelling game, sure. Probably very rules light because of that. So there's not much here in the way of like competition. You're just working on your creativity muscles. You're given prompts for a story. You're given cards that you can use to help brainstorm your story. And then you vote on which person's thing was the best. And then that carries forward in the story. I guess you could like keep score by saying, hey, my thing was the whole story and you all idiots weren't creative enough to add a single thing, but that feels like it might be against the spirit of the thing. It's gonna be, well, we're still in a sticker pack, so I don't like that. 56 Canadian. It's a bunch of cards inspiring your narratives and some 15 story briefs. Yeah, if you were looking for a great storytelling game, I would recommend Adventure Party. This is the storytelling game where you can be creative and try to match with each other as well. You're rolling dice, and then people have to guess what dice you rolled behind the screen based upon the story that you tell. That's what I would say instead. I think Adventure Party is very fun. I've enjoyed playing it, and that's what I would recommend. If you're looking for a storytelling game, that would be my number one. But if you're interested in this one, you can check it out. I like the idea of Fiero, which is an Italian word that encapsulates the exhilarating feeling of satisfaction when you accomplish a challenging task. Like Elphaba, getting her wings. It's been a while since I've seen Wicked. That finishes Saturday, November 2nd at 7:59 a.m. Moving along, we're going to just briefly touch upon this. This is the Alexander Randolph board game collection. New versions of 7 great games created by the world-famous designer. These are all sort of simple, abstract games. Pegging games, if you will. It's by the same people who did the pegging pastimes. No, don't Google that. But I think just looking at these pictures tells you the sort of style of games that these are, and they're all sort of wooden versions of these, $15-ish each. If that's worth it to you, you can check it out. I just wanted to highlight it in case that tickles somebody's interest, but it's not something that ever really will interest me. It's like something that you have in a cabin that you pick up when you're waiting for people to come back from the washroom. That's kind of how I feel about most of these games, but there you go. But let's look at Delivery Witches, 1 to 4 players, and we are allowed to do so. I think we're allowed to look at the rest of them for the end of the many-tabbed episode. Delivery Witches, 1 to 4 players, soar the skies and dispatch packages to the townsfolk in this pickup and delivery game. Is it better than Broom Service? That's what you're fighting against. Let's check this one out. This is before Broom Service was Broom Service. You're going to run around and collect different things, fulfilling different objectives to get crystals, to level yourself up. It seems like you can get powers onto your own little board, and you can get additional items to show that you can move faster than any other witch alive. 40 euros for the standard, or you can get one with a book. Cool, and a different player color. That's fun. Great witch hat, Mag. Let's read the rulebook. Each turn you have 4 actions. You can move, you can accept a delivery, which is basically taking an objective, upgrade your abilities, or upgrade your broom. Move in any direction, equal to your broom function. Accepting deliveries is the main task in Delivery Witches. You take a card from the pile, you flip it up. You can have 3 total. Delivery cards will always have packages to deliver, and those packages will always be on the level where your pawn's located. To deliver a package, you have to pass through board tiles that match the color of the packages. Once you step on the tile, it's been delivered. You take it, you throw it off of your broom, you have it land right on the front step of somebody, all beaten and battered, like everyone's favorite Kickstarter delivery service. You just smash it on the ground, you leave it out in the rain, it's okay. There wasn't anything important in there anyway. What matters is that you do it quickly. People are waiting on their packages. And I think you all know who that is. And if you have multiple packages of the same color, just passing over the same thing, you just throw them all out there. And so I think it's going to be about drawing these cards, hoping you get the same color, and if you do, you win. A little bit of an efficiency puzzle. The just drawing randomly doesn't seem like it's going to be that exciting, but there must be a number of different spots to go to figure everything out. And they do have restrictions, so everything that you do pull up, you have some sort of restriction on it as well. You have to do it in a certain number of rounds, etc. Seems okay. It seems a lot lighter than something that I'd be interested in. It's also $61 Canadian plus shipping for me is $22, so it's like a $90 game for me. Too expensive for what I'm really that interested in, but if you want a light pick up and deliver that would play well with children, like a very simple introductory pick up and deliver game, this seems like it's got a cute enough theme. Maybe that'll sustain you. But I imagine it'll be like a 3-play thing, and you'll be like, yeah, I'm done. Speaking of being done, that's done on Saturday, November 2nd at 3 p.m. We're going to move on to my most anticipated. It's not funded yet? Dang. I hope this does well. My most anticipated just because it's this Fabled, the Spirit Lands and expansion build your path in a dynamically challenging world engine building strategy game from the studio behind City of the Great Machine. It's not the same designers, but it's the studio. They're like, listen, City of the Great Machine people like. I guess we're going to start using that in all of our marketing. And it's worked for me because I quite like City of the Great Machine as well. And let's check this one out and see if it's any good. I am obsessed that like clearly they had to redo the voiceover for just the older guy in a beard because he's trying to move, he's trying to speak, and he can't do the speaking. He can't hit the script. That's the best part about this video so far. All right. I don't think this looks that exciting. I can see why it's not doing that well. Competitive and solo and co-op. Lead your sages through winding paths and boundless prairies. See some fables. Over the course of the game, you add prairie, mountain, and forest locations in a row, so you're creating the pathway. I move, you move. Along with other means, you move both you and your opponent's sages forward by announcing a location type. Your books of wisdom, they will score you points, but they also are your resource. This seems like a lot of sizzle and is maybe a wet vegan sandwich. We go to game features. You're essentially just moving along to grab books, to move forward, to get more books, turn those books into better books. Yeah, you either take books, you convert the books, you move with your sages, or you add a location. Yeah, this doesn't look good at all, unfortunately. The full set is the full set's $49, so at least it's cheap. 69 Canadian. I just don't. I mean, like, I don't like moving games where you move along a path. I think Tokaido's bad. I think Parks is bad. It just doesn't gel with me. It's just not something I like. And so this is just moving along a path. I do not think it looks good whatsoever. Sorry, Crow Games. Just go get City of the Great Machine instead. Like, seriously. From the studio that brought you City of the Great Machine, you should go get City of the Great Machine. Unfortunately, this one just doesn't look like it would hit with me whatsoever. But if you like that path movement and sort of simple conversion stuff, that's kind of what it feels like to me. That finishes Tuesday, November 5th at 11 a.m. We're moving along. Just quickly here, Conan in the Hyborian Age, the role-playing game. Take part in the days of high adventure in the glorious and official Conan tabletop role-playing game. This is by Monolith, and they're turning the Conan genre and area into a big old role-playing game as well. So you have €25 for a PDF, or you can get the regular books if role-playing is your jam. I just know that Conan and the Monolith Conan system is a pretty well-known system, so I figured I'd highlight this in case you hadn't heard of this and you were interested, but we're not going to really look into it into that much detail at all. That'll finish next Tuesday as well. And then finally, Also finishing next Tuesday, we have Bardsung Tales of the Forsaken Glade. Heed the call to adventure in this epic dungeon crawl board game for 1 to 5 players. Tale of the Forsaken Glade remasters the gameplay of the first any award-winning Bardsung game for all new campaign. It won stuff. I've only heard Bardsung referred to as excruciating, too much grind, and not that great. Navigate the shifting labyrinth, confront twisted fae and dragon-tainted cultists, and reclaim the forests from impending annihilation. Sure, we'll take a little bit of a look. I think it's just going to be more Bardsung. Build unique dungeons as you explore. Okay, that seems fun. There's remastered gameplay. I want to see where they talk about the remastered gameplay, because I just know that this was just grindy. And again, like Dark Souls is grindy. Feels like Steamforge might be grindy, but I thought Monster Hunter was really good. Choose your hero, it's got unique attacks and skills, sure, customize a multi-class. Learn and unleash potential abilities using Fate, a unique hero resource, great. Travel through multiple rich and immersive chapters, like, I'm friggin' sick, you know what I am? Oh, now I'm careful, I'm about to lose a bunch of subscribers here when I say that all campaign games are the same again, but they are, because of this sentence right here, travel through multiple rich and immersive chapters, right? Like the marketing behind that is insane. Oh, that comment was insane. But this comment is insane as well. Explore choice-driven encounters with randomized events, enemies, traps, and more. This is the constant pitch of the campaign, right? Every campaign game promises the same thing. They promise the same unique excitement. They promise the same overarching stories. They promise the same amazing immersive gameplay. And I don't think all of them can provide that. And I think I've hit the point of campaign fatigue. I must have. I just don't want to see another campaign game in my life ever again. Or I want $1 million and a year sabbatical where I can just play campaign game, and that's it. And I understand that it's hard to distill as well, like the scope of a campaign game, but I also just see the same story being put forward over and over. And then you get stuff like Bardsung, which by many accounts, here, we don't need this anymore. Well, I hope we don't, has been a grind. I mean, 7.4 is not too bad. After tutorials, love it so far. Will update my score once I see how enemy heroes and story progresses. I guess they didn't like it. Underrated game. Danny owns it. Okay. One of the best dungeon crawlers they've ever played. Sold it. Really sad Steamforge games did nothing to improve the game. Tried it recently and the flaws are just too bad. I don't buy anything from Steamforge games anymore. Played the campaign but skipped maybe half of the encounters, facing 6 hours of the same enemies again and again. Miniatures are good. Gameplay is an okay. D20 system is simple but okay for an easy dungeon. For me, I like some better AI, random dungeons, and wandering monsters. A lot of narrative and cards is good. Boss fights feel good too. That makes sense. The boss fights feeling good. Steamforge are good at boss fights, but getting to the boss fight, I think, are hard. Campaign is just too grinding. 5 to 9 encounters per chapter. We play about 10 to 12 chapters. Too much of the same. Please give a path for shortcuts. So much grind. They did it again. Another game with potential, sold with mediocre gameplay and mediocre rulebook. They have some ideas, but are lazy as hell. Really fun at the start, but became a grind as I went through. You taking shortcuts to finish. Grinding without any relevant progress, right? Awesome. Love the grind. Well, there you go. Some people love the grind, but like even in the positive ones, this is somebody who hates Gloomhaven and who likes Bardsung. What a great write-up. What a terrible rulebook. Tedious combat. Ruined our game. And I've just heard so many things about that I just don't have any faith that the changes here are the actual changes, you know? And certainly not one that you should be spending $360 on. And then they don't even tell us about what those changes are, like what those streamline changes are. They don't put up the rulebook probably because the other one was so horrible and they don't want to you to shy away. They just want you to get entranced by the cool minis. Oh no, there it is. Okay, my bad. Scrolled past. But I'm not excited to peruse through this, but I will peruse just a little bit so we can see. I just have heard too many horror stories. I have never heard or met someone who loves Bardsung, you know? I have only met people who have been disappointed. I don't want to join that team, no. I just want to read it. 19 pages. That's not too bad. Let's see what combat is, right? Tiles, because you're exploring, that's fine. Ability cards, yeah, name of the ability, type, attack range, damage dice that you get to roll, attack modifiers, you get a +7, the attack profile. Okay, special rules, the trigger are active or passive. So an active or passive one, okay. And then the level that you need to be. See, like this does seem cool. Like you're really getting this RPG feel. You get to roll the D6s, the D20s, whatever, moving people around and punching people in the face is fun, but then there isn't enough variance. Or maybe there'll be enough variance in the expansion, but I always feel like people put that forward as a potential, and then it never really happens. I'm really surprised that there's enough demand that they would reprint Bardsung. I kind of thought Bardsung would have been dead in the water. Maybe because it's an IP. I think it's an IP. That's what people were saying on the, whatchamacallit, BGG page. Battle cards modify combat in some way. Heroes must reroll successful defense rolls if there are 2 or more enemies in their zone. So just little tweaks of rules to increase the fiddliness, probably. Yeah, choose an attack card. You choose an enemy in the attack range. Make the attack roll using 2d6. Add the dice together. You attack and do any modifiers. If it's lower, it misses. If it's higher, it hits. So just a lot of stat checks running around and the monsters with this AI that they say is going to do a lot of stuff, but I somehow doubt that it will. However, if you are willing to take a weird gamble, or you love Bardsung, drop in the comments down below like why you love it, or drop if you think it was a grind. I know that there are a few out there who I've talked to who think it's a grind, but that finishes next Tuesday at 4 p.m. And that is it. That was a big one. Definitely was a big one. I'm looking at these things that I promised them I would wear in another video too. That was the contract, and I will fulfill it. But every week I do a pick for me and a pick for you. The pick for me being the things that I think are the most interesting to me mechanically, the game that I think I would enjoy the most out of the entire gamut, and the pick for you being the thing that if you were to get it, I think you have the chance of being disappointed the least. But before we do that, I'm going to remind myself on all of these tabs, in the biggest grunt down that's ever grunted, let's go. Starting with this. Yeah, no rulebook, so screw you. Yeah, good, but not going to fund. No. Yeah, absolutely not, absolutely not. Yeah, absolutely not. Yeah, meh. There's only one word to describe this one. Absolutely not. No way. No. Yeah, probably not. Absolutely not. Yeah. No, not really. Meh. Yeah, good. No. No. Not really. No. Not for me. And no. So a bad run of things there. I think I found it, you know? We were close. We were close here, but I think for me, for sure, the pick for me was always going to be this one. Fest season looks quite good, and it's not just because of how much I love festivals that I'm making this my pick for me, even though that is the unequivocal pick for me. But yeah, this one really spoke to me. I like the different mechanisms, how they work. I like the scaling of things as they get more and more valuable. And then that chooses, do I want to buy those things? Do I hedge my bet in that like modern art style feel? I like that there's going to be the pull back and forth between the different actions, that you can just do the same action over and over and over. I think this one does look really neat. So this is for sure the pick for me, the one that I was definitely the most interested in. This one was close to the pick for you, but I think I'm going to give the pick for you to Bat Flip Dynasty. I think the simple drafting and the dice rolling here will be enjoyable in this lighter weight drafting game. If you're into the theme, if you like the baseball theme, this might hit with you as well. And I think it's got the most likely chance for you not to regret it, because you kind of know what you're walking into. You're doing this over and over and over, this trying to get trophies. The person who gets the most hits gets like 2 trophies. So it'll be a bit of a slog back and forth, like not a slog, but you won't be able to blow someone out of the water in every round. So there'll be naturally close games. But yeah, I think the amount of dice here and rolling those dice and drafting the people seem like it could be a fun time. So that would be the pick for you for this week. What did I miss? What should I have picked? Did I get anything wrong? I'm always interested to hear from you all in terms of what you're playing, what you're having fun with. I played Trois, or Troyas, as I like to call it, because I'm nasty. Troyas, if you're nasty. And Great Western Trail New Zealand again the other day. I mean, Trois was okay. It was good, but it was fine. But like, man, oh man, Great Western Trail New Zealand is like cream of the crop. Again, there are so many really good games. There are games that you have on your shelf that you haven't played in a couple of years, and you don't need to go out and buy something to get that dopamine hit. You can read the rule book and refresh yourself on the things that you have, the things that you did purchase and you haven't gotten to the table. I will be that constant reminder for you to enjoy and invest in the things that you have right now, because they're good. You picked them for a reason. Anyway, I'm finishing up this video. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Chris George. I don't have a catchphrase, but I do not have a good ending. I was trying to make a joke with these, but I don't know. I got nothing. It's been a long episode. You know what? I do hope that that you just have a wonderful, wonderful day. You know, I hope that your day is just great. I really do. I hope that for you. I want your days to be filled with happiness and joy. And I feel so honored that you spend time with me here and that we get to hang out together and that we've been doing this for so long. And it's just really, really lovely. So I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day.